Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Cone Dodger here. Welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. It is November of 1982, and we had just finished up engineering. Well, not engineering, we just finished designing two cars that will be debuting in 1983 and 1985, and those are the Magnet and the Zoids. The Magnet being our new entry-level car that is budget-friendly, and the Zoids on the complete opposite spectrum is a super slash sports car that will hopefully help our overall company prestige increase over time. The Spud, the Hewitt, and the Truffle are our remaining cars. The Hewitt is likely on its way out the door. I do believe, if I remember correctly, we are using the factory for one of these two? Perhaps not. I think I'm actually using a different one for the Magnet and a new one for Zoids. So the Hewitt will be coming to a close soon, and that is the next car that we'll probably be replacing, and that one is our coupe and convertible. Now, if we look at the economy real quick, in 1982, things are still pretty calm as far as how things are going. There's been no major catastrophes or real low spots in our playthrough here, which has been quite lucky, if we're honest. Luxury has been doing very good for us, as has premium, obviously. Overall, the whole nature of the economy has been quite strong. Here lately, if you look here, the green line has come to life a little bit there, so Arcana has started to come online a bit more than Fruinia. Now, Fruinia is still a bit more budget-minded, so those are things to consider. Market-wise, we're getting the good share of the market in the right half of this chart, so in the sports stuff. Luckily for us, those markets are doing quite well at the moment. We're not even really selling to these guys, and those are just coming online. That's great. That'll be very good for the new car, the Zoid. But what I would like to do is work in some of this side of the chart. And here, we're not doing so much. We're not doing so much at all. We're doing good with these small categories, not so great with the big categories. So I think our next car to design is going to be something a little bit more family, commuter, that kind of genre of car. Is that even category, I guess? I don't know. Is it improper to use the word genre on anything but music? I don't know. What do I know? All I know is it's still 1982, and the way I see it, because the Hewitt's still doing okay, yeah, it's still turning a profit. Until it doesn't, I'll probably keep making it. I'm thinking it's going to be a little while before I actually design another car. And what we have here is our R&D. We put a ton into fuel system because we wanted the fuel injection earlier than everybody else. We succeeded in that. So what I might do is drop down to a 3 there and then distribute our money out a little bit more. We have $6.3 billion at our disposal at the moment. I have seen this go wrong. I have personally tanked more money than that before, so I don't want to go willy-nilly with the money, but I would like to spread it out in the R&D a bit more. Let's do a little bit into the chassis stuff, and I don't mean the actual chassis, but I think I want to do more towards... Let's do more towards drivetrain. It's not really going to help us get anything too much faster, but to have that quality point at our disposal would be nice. I would say that would probably help with our future ability to have good miles per gallon or good comfort and drivability and that stuff. And then I think the biggest thing I want to try to improve on is safety, because I think having high quality safety really matters towards this car that I'm looking to build moving forward. So we're going to put 2 clicks into that. So we're still at 2.25. I'm going to give us one more click, and I'm going to do it on the suspension tab. because there's just so much that rides in the suspension. Get it? Rides, suspension, funny. um, and I just have a good feeling that a little bit of quality bump there is going to take us a long way. All right, so that should even this out, because currently we had a lot of tech going towards engine stuff, not very much stuff going towards car stuff. Looking over our cars, we're not sitting on too much of anything at the moment, so I'm just going to wait until we hit production on the Magnet to really bring you guys back in and take a look at how things are doing. Although I guess we should look at the end of 1982, shouldn't we? We're almost there, just around the corner. And a 295 profit this year. To have a profit on a year that we're currently engineering 2 cars is a good thing. We're losing prestige at a pretty rapid rate, and these two, I notice there's a real ebb and flow between them. The reputation goes down whenever your cars get older, and the prestige will go down once you start making cars that are a little bit more every day. So hopefully the Zoid will balance up and bring up our prestige, and I'm worried that it might tank our reputation a little, but overall, not really too concerned about these. It's a factor for sure, but it's not something that seems to be make or break for us right now. Alright, so here we go. We've ended 1983 with a 331 profit. Now we are making the Magnet, but only for a month, and I've not even balanced it yet. So I've got some work to do, so let's pause. Good on truffles. Hewitts, I'm making as many as I can, and it's staying right there at the mark of just selling everything we have of those. So it's basically a max profit situation going on with that right now. And it's made a nice, a sizable profit, not quite truffle territory. And trust me, Paul tells me every time he watches these videos, he reminds me of how well the truffle is doing. But we know that that is doing well, and he expected it to. The Spud, struggling a little bit, but it's still making a decent profit. Let's look. Oh, actually, while I'm looking at the Spud, and before I forget, do need to crank down its. Let's see if we can come down a little bit on the price, and maybe just a touch on the shifts too. And then, yeah, we're still making a profit on that, so it's not a worry. Let's look at the Magnet. This needs to be balanced completely. This should be way off. Yeah, because we got the markup too high, and we have the shifts too high, I think. So the markup will take to 25. Let's see, we're selling a decent amount in Fruinia, but nothing amazing. Let's also bring down the shifts. 2 is okay. I think because the economy keeps doing really well, in fact, it looks like budget just went down. Oh my god, what? This is the biggest spike in luxury and premium we've ever had. This has been the playthrough to build this supercar company that I tried to build last playthrough and failed at. But it's RNG, you know, that's what it is. Alright. Well, so the Magnet Mark II might struggle for a little bit here. Just a little bit. Let's look at the new cars real quick. Last 10 years. Sedans. There's that one. We didn't really like that one. That's the same one. It's a duplicate. These hatches. We've already built one of these. That kind of doesn't fit. Yeah, there's just not a car available to me right now that I think fits the bill for the next car I want to build. And our current cars are still doing well enough that I don't see the need to replace them. I'm sure you could, and I'm sure I could, but I don't see the need at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel whatever that was. And it may be quite a few years here. We may burn through some time today as I look for something interesting to make. So I'm just going to be doing a little bit of managing today as we go through time. 1984, one of our most profitable years. $1.1 billion put into the bank. 454,000 cars sold. Losing reputation again a little bit, Prestige really tanking. We really need the Zoids to come online so that we can gain prestige again. Our overall reputation still above 0. Our prestige is below 0. So 11.2 there versus 6.2. These are all facts, sure. The truffle has started selling really crazily well again. So I do want to look at the economy and see what's going on with that. Yeah, there's basically nothing I can do with that. That one's pretty much in autopilot. The Hewitt's doing fine. The Spud actually picked up again a little bit, which is nice. And I think we've reached 1.2 billion total profit there. So the Spud may actually outperform the Hewitt here over time. Magnet, it's turning a profit. We're sitting on a ton of these things right now. 41,000 of them. I'm not too worried about sitting on a ton of them because all it's going to take is one little bobble in this economy for this car to start selling really good. And whenever there's a spike like that, there's almost always a downturn following. So I think this car's time is nearing. But I will turn down the shifts a little bit more even on them because I don't want to sit on 100,000 of them. That would just be crazy. Economy, yes, budget already starting to come back up. And there you go, there's the dive. That's exactly, I mean, you can see it over time. In the early days, things were slow to move, but now it's a spike and a decline, spike and a decline. So that's the trend I think we're going to stick with. And let's get through 85. I think I went through and looked at the bodies so that I didn't have to go and look every year. And I think we're actually going to go to 1987 to find our body. I might check in 86 though to make sure that it's not available there. And just like that, 1985 is in the book. 482,000 cars sold, another billion in profits. We're up to 8.4 billion at our disposal, which is very nice. Minimal changes here, all good there. All right, let's go ahead and pause. And it was a year that the Magnet definitely started to perform much better. I actually increased the Spuds production as well. Let's see. Currently, the Hewitt is our only car that is losing us some money. And I could certainly... Oh, wow. Looks like the coupes have basically stopped selling. 0.06. Nobody wants that coupe anymore. Well, I guess we're going to split it to make a bunch of convertibles. Probably just come down in the price significantly. Oh, well, that actually will probably help both of them. Alright, let's do that to get these selling again. I forgot we were selling these at quite a healthy margin to begin with, for sure. Alright. There we go. Now we can even this out again. Much better. And let's see. A little bit more? A little bit more. That should do it. That should do it. Alright, no biggie on the Hewitt. That one's soon to be replaced. It's a very old vehicle, but not hurting us. But yeah, the Spud is definitely nearing the point where it's going to overtake the Hewitt in sales, which is nice. I am glad that the Spud's doing so well. I think it's one of my better designed cars. The Magnet is coming along nicely, despite its brakes being too small, amongst other little complaints that car's design had. Alright. Most importantly to me right now, the Zoids. I think I'm just going to go with Zoid. The Zoid has come online. 2,700 stock right now. Sold 3,000 of them. Ooh, a little bit of a low demand. I mean, look at the markup though. Let's go down to a 50% markup. Let's go down to a 40% markup. Okay, okay. And just make lots of them. I'm totally okay with just not selling a ton of these, because that's not the kind of car it is. Looks like we're in a pretty sharp decline right now as far as premium, luxury, that kind of stuff goes. Commercial staying steady, budget on the incline. So everything will ebb and flow. I think we have enough of a well-rounded company right now that we can handle all of these little bobbles along the way. R&D. Alright, we have the 1 point on safety. We're almost to the 1 point on the drivetrain and suspension, but not quite. I don't know if we would make it there by 1987 unless I doubled up on the funding there. Maybe then we would barely have it, but not as of right now. Let's see. We might make it to basic 80s before. Yeah, that would be cool because we're a year ahead on safety. That would be something really interesting if we're not going to design till 1987. Let me see. New car. Last 10 years. It's under sedan for some reason, I believe. No, that's the broken one. No, it's under hatchback. That's what I was thinking. But no, not till 1987. All right, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Company's doing great. And we can probably afford to expediently make the new car, the Hewitt replacement, and kind of pay our way out of not designing a car for a while. Pause, break time, just a little bit of an aside. Just to kind of refresh everybody, the way that I'm playing this Lite campaign is more out of pleasure than score. So there's certainly a lot of things I could do here along the way to get an outright better score, to make more money, to sell more cars. I just find it way more enjoyable to play it in a way that seems more real world logical to me, and just kind of the way that comes natural to me. So I stated this a lot in the earlier episodes of the series. Make sure you're in the mindset of that's the goal here, is to just enjoy the Lite campaign as it is, and enjoy the fun of making cars more than anything. So certainly don't take anything I do here as a tutorial or a guide as to how you should be playing the game. That is certainly not the case. Another aside is that once this style of campaign has the ability to update cars, I think the way that I play it will become much more relevant. Instead of constantly designing new cars, instead of constantly just making new models, it would be more of an evolution of your designs, and that to me is just how playing the role of a CEO of a car company seems more natural to me. So what we're doing here is more natural to me and less natural to how this certain campaign plays or acts. All right, that's all I have to say about that. That's just something that was on my mind after the past few episodes. Let's go ahead and get to 1987 and actually design something today. All right, end of 1986, one of our top selling years. This is probably the most models we've had selling at one time. 524,000 cars, 500 million cars. Wow, I number really well, don't I? 500,000 cars sold, which is not gigantic numbers. We're talking more of your, what's a current smaller car manufacturer? Do any of them still exist? I'm not sure that they do. I'm trying to think. It's maybe more your Jaguar numbers. I don't know. Who sells about 500,000 cars a year at this time? I was thinking Mazda, but I bet you they probably sell more than that. I don't know. But it's not a gigantic car company. This is no General Motors, no Toyota by any means. Important to see here, reputation going down in a massive way. -7. Prestige going up in a massive way. So the Zoids has certainly changed the shift of our company. That's the factor that I think is most important here. Profit lost, 1.3 billion made this year, or almost to 10 billion as a total company. Not too shabby. And we ended 1986 with every car that we're making a profit. The truffle is not on top. I just want to tell you, Paul, the truffle is not on top. The Magnet is currently the top profiting car in our lineup. Way to go, Magnet. And, yep, the Spud did overtake the Hewitt, which was losing money for a little bit through 1986. But now it is time to design ourselves a new car. Something to replace, sort of replace the Hewitt. It's going to take its place, but I think as far as the sports car of our lineup goes, the Spud's actually kind of taking that place, and the Zoids for sure. So The Hewitt is being replaced by something maybe a little bit irrelevant to what the Hewitt actually was. All right, here she is, our new body. It's a Panther body, basically. So a large sedan is something that our company basically hasn't made or is not currently making for sure. And that's something that I want to tackle now. Like I said, we want to move into that family commuter category. We want to take some of these high sales categories and put our own touch on them. I'm going to try and put my own touch on this car, but odds are not going to be the most interesting looking thing. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's got some options in it for sure. So that makes it better already. Just squaring up the nose. And we'll see what happens. But before I start designing, it's going to be monocoque. It's going to be... Oh. Is that something we should be doing now? Corrosive resistant. Would give us more... prestige? No. But it probably gives us more... What's the word I was looking for? Reputation? Right. It's going to give us a better reputation if the thing's not rusting away. Let's do that. Let's get familiar with that. And then... longitudinal. McPherson? Semi-trailing? And corrosive resistant. Yeah, we'll pencil those in for now. Alright, now I'll get to designing. Okay, I guess I'm done designing. I'm just kidding. It's actually not that bad. It's pretty okay for a big boat of a car. I think it's more interesting than, say, what would this era be? Like the Ford LTD or the Caprice or the Taurus, the larger sedans. It's got a lot of butt. That's as much butt as I could take out of it. I wish you could chop about this much off the trunk of it, but I'm sure that helps its utility scores. But not a bad looking car, I don't think. I like how the front turned out. It's simple. It's certainly not amazing. Huge wheel arches on this thing. You're gonna need some very big wheels for 1987. And how does it look? All right, we got rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, 4x4. Which do you want to choose? Probably rear-wheel drive. And blue. Looks pretty adult in blue. Looks like a banana in yellow. Well, every car does. Ooh, very gentlemanly in green. Very nice. In a darker charcoal black. Very nice indeed. And cop car. And classic, but boring. I think I like the blue the most. I think the blue is the winner. Alright. Way too much time spent on that. Alright, well this boat needs an engine. Maybe inboard. Let's not go for the outboard special. And I'm thinking, despite the fact that your normal, what I think of as like a cruiser or a big, boat of a car, typically V8. I'm thinking I'm going inline 6. I wish we could do inline 8s. I would totally do it right now, just for the hell of it. But inline 6. And we've been working towards this, working towards aluminum blocked engines. I think this would be a good case for it, except for the fact that I want extremely high reliability. So I'm going to go for cast iron and cast iron, but I am going to go for the dual overhead cam because we've already started engineering that, we're getting familiarity with that, and that is good. We want that for the future. And I want this thing to also have very good economy. We can't quite do VVL just yet, but our top end right now has a 42% familiarity. That's pretty good. Or I guess the whole tab here does 42. I don't know. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Wait. Is that saying that I have 42% familiarity with not having VVL? Because I would hope so. It doesn't exist yet. Anyway, moving on. Simple stuff down bottom, for sure. I didn't even look at the size of the engine. I could probably go larger. Let's see. Just a little bit larger, not crazy. 3.2 should be fine. I'm aiming for the 200 horsepower range with this guy. Let's hope for maybe 8.9 compression, easy cam profile. We want to have, that's not what I wanted. We want to have very good economy here. Well, that's as plain as it gets there. Too modern. That's pretty good. But let's go for black. Yeah, that's nice and classy looking for a classy car. NA, not turbo yet. We'll get there soon. Injection, multi-point, single is fine. Regular is good. 6,000 RPM should be doable. We have 3 quality here to spend. I didn't put anything else in engines, right? No, I don't believe so. And that should be K. That should be okay. Not KO. Those letters go the other way around. Good job. Short cast. Let's aim for that. Yeah, that should be good. High flow 3-way. That was one of the things that I apparently messed up on the magnet, I think. One of them I messed up, then I used a 2-way cat. But apparently you should just stop using once the 3-ways become available. Straight through and a reverse flow. I think I'm going to do that because of the fact that this car needs lots of comfort, and that's a way to get that without too much expense. Required cooling 189. I think we definitely have that available. 206 foot-pounds, 190 horsepower in our initial build. 18.67 economy is good. Let's see if we can get even better numbers out of it, though. Right at the edge of its rev band. Reliability on point at 58.9. So we could probably get a few more revs out of it easily. And we start to get some bottom end stuff going on. But let's also look at compression. We're real close. 9.0 seems to be the sweet spot for it. 190 horsepower. I'd certainly desire more from it. 200 would be more ideal. Could probably lean this thing out to get to a higher economy and keep like 180 horsepower. Yeah, 187, and then a 20% economy on the nose. Interesting. I mean, 203 foot-pounds is probably 187 horsepower, 203 foot-pounds. Probably enough, but we're going to be talking like a 32 to 3,400 pound car here. I don't want it to be underpowered for sure, but I don't want to be over budget or over economyalized. That's a term. I just made it up, but it's a term. Don't judge me. You should probably judge me. I think we're going to stick with that for now, and if I need to, I can add more to this thing. There's certainly room for it, but I'm not sure we're going to need to. So let's stick with that for now. Also note that I used a badge on this car. I know I forgot to do that last episode. I always put badges on my cars. I forgot last time. I'm not a fan of debadging cars. Anybody out there that debadges their cars, I don't get you. Unless you're really, really ashamed of what car you drive, there's no reason to take the badges off of it. Random mini rant. Alright, let's click through, do an initial build. Actually, first, let's name it. And as always, pull in names from the comments. And this one's gonna be the Jaws. That's right, it's the Jaws. What better name for a giant boat of a car, right? Right. Alright, here comes the time when we hit this button and it shows us our initial findings. What do you think? We're going to have at least one that's over 100? I'm thinking 2. I think we have 2 categories that are over 100. Oh, very nice. And family is the first one on the list. Well, hit that one on the head. 122 and a 69.4. Utility Sport, 1113 and a 50. Interesting. Very interesting. There's still a lot of tuning left to do on this, but let me look at the markets. Okay, this is good. This is good. 11.7. 15. 15. Right at the 11. So this one's starting to get a little too expensive for Utility Sport. Family Utility, it's good. But this is the area that I was talking about. This is the area of the quote-unquote map that I want to cover. Let's go ahead and put a 10% markup on it, just so I have a little bit more basis of tuning on the car design. Okay, so more gearing. More gearing gives us more overdrive, which gives us better economy, and will give us less wheel spin, which will make the drivability increase, which it did, 53.8. Automatic transmission, and this gearing actually looks pretty good. You can do almost 60 in first gear, which is nuts. But apparently it has the torque to do it. And it's still spinning wheels. We could get rid of wheel spin completely, or we could give it some wheel spin and a higher sports score. Probably somewhere right in the middle. So yeah, pretty much exactly what default was. Oh yeah, there's quality on this. What does that do for us? That gave us good drivability, sportiness, comfort, and prestige. As well as a little bit more MPG and a little bit lower 0 to 60, 9.1, which is not an amazing time for sure. But it's a very drivable time, which is important for this car. Even though that makes me feel sad inside to say that. Well, I was able to get it down below 9 seconds, which feels better to me. Alright, tires. Well, we have 2 quality there, which should help in many ways. It does. I've got the medium compounds. It might be hard long lives that it wants. Not really. But that's without suspension tuning, so that might be something to come back to. I've got 16s on there with a pretty chunky tire. Chunky. Alright, well, we'll leave that alone. Brakes, it looks like we hit that pretty close. I don't see anything to do too much here. Maybe a little bit less rear brake would be good. But other than that, yeah, now we're starting to get into brake fade. So no brake fade, and everything seems hunky-dory there. Really close to the line, but that's kind of what you want. Nothing of note here. Interior, there might be some stuff of note. So let's see here. Premium, probably not. Probably standard, probably not basic either. No, yeah, standard's probably the way to go there. Standard cassette. Ooh, they like their standard cassette. How about premium? Not so much. So standard cassette, the way to go there. ABS is now available to us. I didn't even see that one creeping up. But that is apparently available to us now, and it has so much... It has so much of an increase to drivability, but quite a decrease to reliability. Because it's such a new technology, I'm sure. It's an interesting conundrum to be in. But I think we want overall drivability and comfort, so we're going to stick with it. Alright, we have the safety quality to use on standard. Would bring us to 119. But what about advanced 80s? Ooh, 123. What about cost there, though? Not a huge difference. Not a huge difference at all. Pretty big increase in engineering time, though. Very high engineering time on that. That could really change the whole scope of the design of the car. That's an interesting one to kind of go over. Let's leave it at standard, and maybe I'll come back to that. Incredibly sadly, it seems the buyers wanted it to be even more boring handling, so we're getting the drivability closer to that 1.0. We do have quality here. That doesn't really change a whole bunch, does it? Makes it more comfortable more than anything, I think. Probably the biggest increase. Yeah, well, it's something. That might have been a silly place to put tech into. But perhaps for sports cars that would be more important? I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Overall, everything looks pretty good there. So what does the market look like now? With a 10%, let's go to 20. Let's see if anything has a... Yeah, we have 100 there. And 100 there, and 100 there with 20. So that's good. That is very good. Nothing else that I really think I want to mess around with too much. Pretty happy with all of that. There's the possibility and the option to make a wagon version, but that seems like just gonna really creep into truffle territory, and I'm not sure we really need to do that. Especially since I do think in the coming years, there's going to be replacement truffles, so we'll leave the big, larger passenger vehicle category to that. So now for the tricky stuff. How long is it going to take to make? 2 years, 10 months as of right now. Remember I said I wanted to make it as quick as possible. 141 million to just a trim of half a year of that, not even half a year. It's going to cost us hundreds of millions. Couple months would be about $100 million. That seems like a worthwhile venture at this point. 3 years and 0 months, but I think for hire, yep. So that brings the car engine 2 years. No, wait. No, yeah, still 2 years, 10 months. Interesting. So throw some money at that bad boy. I'd like to increase the reliability a bit too. Alright, well, that is what it is there. I'm thinking I must have done some. Let's look at it. Oh, the top end with the dual overhead cam. That's what's taking so long there. Got it. Got it. Okay, so let me make sure I get all this straight. Currently, the Hewitt is the one that's struggling. It has a car medium and engine small. So we're probably going to want to use the car medium. Really kind of would prefer a car large, but I think we can do it with a car medium. So let's assign that and then buy a medium engine factory to go with it. Okay. But we're probably going to have to, yeah, we're going to have to build ourselves a new plant, or at least make it larger, a medium 3. I would like to, you see, we could lower the cost of the cars being produced if we increased the automation. I don't know why. Whenever I'm playing this game and I get to adjust the automation slider, it makes me happy. But it's going to make our initial cost more. Well, we have lots of money at our disposal right now, so increased initial cost, probably not a huge deal. So let's just take that up to 55, just for the experimental sake. And then engines. Would a 2 be enough, or would it? Let's do a 3. Let's do a 3, and we'll also take that to 55. Let's say that's cranked. Oh yeah, plenty of engines then. Not to worry there. And okay, we still have 100 in family and 100 in family utility premium. What is it with like a 10%? With a 10%, good scores around the board, and that's what I like to see. Not necessarily, because these are such competitive classes, not necessarily going to blow them out of the water like we do with the sports classes, but if we make a really good impact in them, this will probably be pretty profitable. Ooh, yikes. As of right now, the demand, 4.31. 4.31. I didn't really look at Fruinia too much, and that may have been a mistake because it's showing quite a few selling there. 4,000 or 4,500 in fact. Interesting, so obviously the markup would have to be steeper, 40% to be somewhat reasonable. Somewhere around 1.61 seems to be the sweet spot. Let's see here. Production in 89. Break even taking about 29 months. A $1.3 billion project. We could cut down on that project cost by maybe using the smaller engine factory. That's a possibility. Or decreasing the automation. Let me think about this. This is going to be a long-term car, I believe. Something we sell for quite a few years. So I'm not so worried about the break even taking longer. I think part of that is that we're not probably making enough of them to sell. Well, let's go back there. Currently, yeah, 89,000 a month pretty much. I mean, realistically, we could go as high as like 40, yeah, 47, 48. That would probably change these numbers a little bit. Yeah, that brings it down to 25. Well, let's look at this engine factory. Let's see if instead of getting a 3, we got a 2. Oh, yeah, then we still make enough engines. So that's a no-brainer. And that brings us down to 22 months because it cut our costs up front so much. No brainer, I say. The Jaws is getting signed off. I really wish there was something more like epic and triumphant about the hitting the sign off button, but maybe in the future. Maybe in future builds of the game we'll get that. Whew. All right. Well, it feels like I have had a doozy of a time here today, even though most of it was just micromanaging the cars we already had. But I think we've progressed enough through time for one episode. I will stop here January 1st, 1987, and that is where we will pick up next time here at Automation. Hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I already said next time. Who cares? Who really cares? If you're still watching this, by the way, I appreciate you. You select few YouTube viewers that make it to the end of videos. You're my favorites. Don't tell everybody else.